Varsity Link Coaches Corner here on the Shore Sports Network. It's championship season. 6 Shore Conference teams remain in the NJSI AA playoffs. 5 of those will play for public state sectional championships this Friday night, and one of those will join us tonight. It's the Mariners of Toms River North, a great crowd here at the office. So we're excited to talk Mariners football as they get ready for the South Jersey Group 5 championship game. We'll have head coach Dave Oserwitz and 2 of their captains, senior Michael Dowd and junior Ty Kazanowski. So a lot to talk to in terms of the Mariners and their title game against Kingsway Friday night at Gernert Field. But a bunch to talk to before as we recap Week 11 and the playoff matchups, of course. And with that, I will welcome in my partner, friend, Ed Sarluga. Ed, how are we doing tonight?
Very good, Bob. Very good. I'm glad the Mariners have packed the office lounge here, and look forward to talking to a couple guys and the head man. Not an easy game. It never is when you're in the finals. Kingsway comes in from down South Jersey, and will provide a good test for the Mariners.
A couple of news items just to get to before. The situation at Wall is obviously unfolding daily. The Crimson Knights Thanksgiving Day game with Manasquan was canceled, so Wall season is over. Manasquan, though, was able to pick up a game. They'll host Shore Regional on Thanksgiving Day at Kaboo Warrior Field. So the Warriors get their game, and Shore, which I know their head coach Mark Costantino, and speak with him, was excited to get one last game for his team. We had Shore on last week, so good for those guys to get that game going. And then tomorrow, multiple reports that Asbury Park will have a meeting. They'll have a board vote to decide on the fate of their suspended head coach, Nick Famulera. So we'll see what comes out of that, and whatever news is there will be on shoresportsnetwork.com. So make sure to check the website there throughout the week and certainly all weekend long for all the updates on the playoff games. We'll go back to Week 11. Aside from the playoff games, real quickly, we're getting to that. There was a few regional crossover games left. So St. Giovanni 40-28 over Howell. New Egypt 18-16 over Lakewood. Neptune gets to 4-4 with one game left. Their 28-26 win over Brickmorrow. And then Marlboro 13-10 win over Middletown North. Marlboro 7-3 on the year. That's their first winning season since 1999. Most wins since 1994. Second most wins in program history. So I know a lot of not a lot of history there for Marlboro, but really a great job by those guys to finish the season strong.
Yeah, they played pretty well, that's for sure. And you pick up a couple wins. Nobody knows when they look at your final record, 7-3. Nobody knows that 2 of them were at the end in crossover games. And they played good teams.
No one's going to care either.
Exactly.
You're right.
Exactly.
They did play a pretty good schedule. So we'll move on to the playoff games, and we will start in the non-public B quarterfinals. Number 2, Red Bank Catholic, number 2 seed, I should say, 58-34 win over Morris Catholic. The score and the victory itself wasn't important, but, the story that came out of that was their senior quarterback, Alex Brown. His mother passed away the day before, and he went out and set a program record with 8 total touchdowns, 238 yards passing, 6 touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns. Just an incredible performance, Ed. Certainly, regardless, but under those circumstances. And that moment went viral. I mean, he's had, I talked to him yesterday at practice, and he's had, thousands upon thousands of messages and DMs. And
but one he'll never forget.
Well, Tom Brady, as we all know.
Tom Brady
was among those reached out to him.
Exactly.
Quentin Nelson, the all-pro guard for the Indianapolis Colts and an RBC alum, reached out and sent him a jersey signed with a message on it. So that's been an incredible situation. You can check out a feature story on our website about that game and just about everything he went through. And they'll be back action next week. They're 2 wins from a state championship, and they'll host St. Joe's Hamilton on Friday night. But Ed, when that kind of came out, we all saw that kind of game.
It's what movies are made from. Just an unbelievable story. I had heard about the death of his mom, and was wondering, as everybody was, will he play in the football game? I mean, it was only 1 day removed. He said his mom would have, begged him to play even if she hadn't passed away. So, great story, and very happy for Alex.
And obviously Alex getting a lot of the headlines. Let's not forget his younger brother Marcus is a sophomore at Rumson Fairhaven. So certainly we send our condolences to the entire Brown family. Staying in the non-public bracket, Donovan Catholic went up to Bergen Catholic. Certainly a tall order.
Twice.
They did 2 trips, testing that easy pass, making sure that's filled. But it ended up being a 35-7 loss to the Crusaders, the number 1 team in the state, number 5 or 6 in the nation, depending on what poll you look at. any way you slice it, they're a juggernaut team. Donovan hung with them for a half, and it was close, but then they came back on Sunday after that severe weather delay, and it was all Crusaders from there, Ed.
Well, I think that delay was sort of odd because, number one, Bergen Catholic does not have lights on their field.
Exactly. So by the time they restarted it.
Well, the problem was that the start time was 1 o'clock. Now you've got daylight savings gone, so you only had about 3.5 to 4 hours of light. Now you throw in a lightning delay, a rain delay, and it really came down. Obviously, most of our listeners know how hard it rained. It was just as bad up north with the hail. So they delayed it about an hour. They probably could have come back, but then they realized they didn't have enough time to finish the game. So they postponed it till the next day. Now, as you said, it's not a short ride up there. You're going all the way to the top of New Jersey.
Exit 165, almost.
Oradell, and so back on the buses for Donovan Catholic, and then back on the buses Sunday morning to play the final part of that game, which, again, started at 1 o'clock. I just couldn't understand it.
Well, I guess they're hoping there's not going to be a second lightning delay.
Exactly. Now, let me tell you this. I watched the entire game. I thought that Donovan did not embarrass themselves. The score, no indication. I mean, they wore him down in the second half. Mm-hmm. I mean, give Donovan credit. It was 14-7 near the end of the second quarter. I think it was 2-something left. They were right around midfield, got a first down. Mm-hmm. Penalty flag came out. And until that time, there weren't many penalties called in that football game. The referees let the kids play. Well, that penalty put them back. It was a holding penalty. Put them back 10 yards. So instead of being 1st and 10 again inside of Bergen Catholic territory, they had to go back to almost their own 20-yard line. Took all the momentum out of them. Then the rain and lightning hit, and in the locker room they went for an hour and a half or so, and then back on the buses. So, again, when you have a quarterback and a running back, I believe both going to Notre Dame, correct?
They're pretty good, Bergen Catholic. Yes.
That's a pretty good football team. I mean, they do get a notoriety. I had a laugh because it sounded like two kids, not high school kids, but doing the game, and of course they were predominantly from Bergen Catholic, so they knew everything about them. Every player that made a tackle was a Division I player going to Princeton or somewhere. Everybody that caught a pass, a Division I player. They must have had at least 15 Division I kids on that football team.
It's a different ballgame.
It's a different league,
as we've seen over the years with our teams in that
in
non-public,
division.
either A or that Group 3 or 4 bracket. We'll go down the line. The public school games. The game I was at on Friday night at the Swamp, Middletown South, 17-8 over Sayreville. Another vintage performance by that Eagles defense. Sayreville, a traditionally strong program, came in with a very, very good sophomore running back in Zimmer Wright, close to 1,400 yards rushing, almost 30 touchdowns on the year. They held him to 1 touchdown, 75 yards on the ground, under 200 total yards of offense. And they just kind of churned out these super long drives. I think they had a 9-minute drive, a 7-minute drive, and that was the playbook for Middletown South. Nothing flashy, but extremely solid football. Everyone doing their job, and that's what put them back into a final. 22nd time in program history they'll be in a final, and they'll take on Irvington, your alma mater, on Friday night, and they'll go for sectional title number 11. Yeah,
Middletown South is winning in the playoffs with defense.
Yeah.
No doubt.
They're doing it all year.
They're doing it like Rumson has done it so many years. What are they? Seven times? 7 straight time in the finals?
8 straight years
in the finals. So they're doing it with defense. Defense wins championship. Offense wins football games. Defense wins championship. That's the old slogan.
Central Jersey Group 4, Colts Neck fell to top-seeded Winslow 41-14 on Saturday. And in the South Jersey Group 4 semifinals, Long Branch lost to an undefeated Ocean City team 45-10. The Green Wave season not over, though. They play Red Bank on Thanksgiving, so that'll be Danny George's final game on the sideline for the Green Wave. Now we will get to Rumson Fairhaven and what the Bulldogs defense have done. Like, I laugh because you read the stats and you look at the numbers and it doesn't seem real. 34-0 win over Burlington Township. And I'll throw out some numbers for it. First of all, they have not allowed a first down, not one first down in 2 playoff games. I don't care who you're playing. That is insane.
Tremendous
And
stat.
they played Oakcrest in the first round. Oakcrest was a 3-5 team, not that great. So you look at that, you say, still excellent, but okay. Not Burlington Township, 8-1, averaging over 35 points in a game. They were held to 20 total yards, -6 rushing yards, 26 passing yards, 0 first downs. I mean, Rumson has had a history of doing this in the postseason, and we've written about it a lot over the years, but they might be taking it to a completely different level. Like, depending on what happens these next couple weeks, this could be the best defense they've had during this run, and that is certainly saying something. So Rumson into the final for the 8th straight season that there's been a championship tournament, and they will go for a state title number 7 Friday night. They host a Woodrow Wilson team that's coming off a 34-7 win over Manasquan. But Rumson, I mean, what else can you say about the defense? Just completely outstanding.
Yeah, not much. Like I said, defense wins championships, and they're on their way again. It won't be easy. Woodrow Wilson is a good football team. They took care of Manasquan pretty good. Mm-hmm. Manasquan got the jitters a little bit and turned it over a couple times.
Early
twice on kickoffs in the first quarter and a half, and that hurt Manasquan immensely. And Woodrow Wilson took, those opportunities and turned it into points, and Manasquan could just never get back into the game.
So that will be the championship game in Central Jersey Group 3 on Friday night, Borders Stadium. Rumson hosting Woodrow Wilson. Will go down to Central Jersey Group 2. How about the Rockets? The number 1 seed, but they came in at 4-4, and I think a lot of people probably looked at that and said, how the heck are they the number 1 seed? But look, they've gone out taking care of business. They did, 30-6 over Barnegat in the first round. But then Hillside, a dangerous team that has given Shore Conference teams some fits over the last handful of seasons. And Raritan jumped out to a big 21-0 lead. Then all of a sudden, second half, the game is tied, and it just went back and forth, big play after big play. Raritan got a touchdown run by their senior Joe Campanella with 56 seconds left to go up 41-34. They got to stop at their own 5-yard line in the last play of the game. They held on for that thrilling 41-34 win. I've said all season, Raritan's defense hasn't been great. They've made timely stops, but that offense can score on anybody, and they showed that. So the Rockets roll into that final where they'll take on Haddonfield. But really one of those games where you look at it and you go, whoa.
Just the opposite of what we had just talked about
Exactly.
with Rumson and Middletown South, where defense wins. In this case, it's definitely offense. I mean, 2 weeks ago they had 3 players over 100 yards on the ground.
And they almost had it again this week.
Almost.
Kieran Falzone ran for their junior running back, had 103 yards and 3 TDs. Ben Hutchins, their senior quarterback, had 100 yards even. And then Campanella, who's really their Swiss Army knife guy in that offense, 83 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he had an interception on defense. So those 3 guys certainly offensively have been pushing it for the Rockets. And I will never count them out because Anthony Petruzzi and that coaching staff do such a great job. And, a few years back they entered the playoffs. I think they were 3-5 at the 8th seed. No one gave them any chance. And they went all the way to the championship game, stunned top-seeded Lincoln in the final to win the championship. So, when the playoffs come around, the Rockets can get it done. So We'll see what a tough team in Haddonfield, a traditionally strong program, but you got to like the Rockets' chances. The final team to qualify, not the final team in terms of time, but the final team we'll talk about here, Point Pleasant Borough in South Jersey Group 2. Just another strong performance by the Panthers, 28-7 over New Providence, 330 yards rushing, balanced effort. Jay Croce, their sophomore fullback, leading the way. Charlie Vitale, their quarterback, 2 touchdowns. Matt Oliphant, Connor Salento doing it as the slot backs, the offensive line doing a good job. And really an unheralded defense for Point Borough. Again, held the team to 7 points. And they're back in a title game. First time since 2017, trying to win the first title since 2007.
That offense that Brian Staub has put in and inserted. He's got players in every position.
Oh, yeah.
The wings.
They've been running that for a while.
They have been running
it
for a while. And the Shore team seemed to zero in on it, and they stopped that ace back.
Yes.
Croce. The playoff teams from out of the area have not done that, and he's had 2 back-to-back games that have got them over the hump.
Yeah, and certainly anytime you can get the A back going on that offense, it opens everything up.
Exactly.
And that's what's happened so far. Yep. Woodstown ended up knocking Shore out of the playoffs 24-19 in the South Jersey Group 1 semifinals. And then the team that we'll talk a little bit more about, or a lot more about really coming up a couple minutes, that's the Mariners of Toms River North. How about this one? 48-7 over Edison. I'm at the Middletown South game scrolling through Twitter getting updates.
From me.
And it kept going. And it kept going. All of a sudden it's 21, 28. All of a sudden it's 48. I saw a 50-something somewhere. Even that wasn't right. But Their sophomore quarterback, Micah Ford, another huge game. Jeremiah Pruitt, Tariq Council, just those guys hitting some big plays, and a resounding win over an Edison team that had upended Manalapan in the first round. So we're going, okay, see what this Edison team could do. Not on Friday night at Kerner Field. It was all Mariners, and now Toms River North back into a championship game. So we will talk about that and much, much more when we welcome the Mariners back. You're watching the Varsity Link Coach's Corner on the Shore Sports Network. Back here at the Office Restaurant and Lounge in Toms River, the Week 12 Varsity Link Coach's Corner. What is Varsity Link? It's the athlete's social media network, a place designed as a recruitment tool to help enhance an athlete's opportunity and a coach's recruitment process. So for more information, head to www.varsitylink.com and download the Varsity Link app on the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. So, as we said, Toms River North in the house tonight. Great crowd, and we're very happy right now to be joined by ninth-year head coach of the Mariners, Dave Ozerwitz, and senior two-way lineman Michael Dowd. Michael or Mike? What do you prefer?
Whatever.
I see Michael on the roster.
Yeah.
I don't want to call you what you don't like.
I mean, my mom likes Michael, but
Always.
Well, then we're going to
So
say
we're saying
Michael.
Michael. That's how this works. But we thank you guys for coming down. You mentioned long practice. Obviously, these are the most important ones.
Yeah, they
Getting
are.
ready for a huge game. And you guys are in the championship game again Friday night, hosting Kingsway. You go back to September, and I don't think anyone would have looked at this team and said, hey, this is a team that's going to play in a state championship. But I remember talking to you in the preseason. Young team. It's going to take time to come together. You're playing in the American Division. Wall, Rumson, Colts Neck, Donovan Catholic. And he took some lumps early. But then it really seemed like it came together. 6 straight wins, and here you guys are now ready to take the field for a championship game. So just how about the way this season has really turned, and you guys have played better and better every week?
Yeah, I mean, we thought we were talented, coming into the season, but with the schedule that we had when we saw it, we knew we were up against it a little bit. Those were 4 very talented, well-coached, traditional programs that have been very successful recently. So, we kind of decided, let's just get better every week and worry about ourselves, look inward a little bit, and that's what we did. The result wasn't what we wanted on Friday nights, but then we'd watch the film on Saturday morning, and we would see a lot of positives. Physically in the trenches, we were holding our own with all those teams. We had some catastrophic failures that we needed to correct, and it was really about getting lined up properly defensively and offensively at key moments, not imploding. But physically, we were matching up with those teams, and we knew that if we could gain a little confidence, the schedule would come back to us a little bit, and we could win a few games that, maybe we could get on a little bit of a run where we could have some success late in the year. Now, I don't think anybody thought we'd be playing in the sectional final. But
You did, though.
but
Supposedly, you told your team you were.
yeah, I don't
Hey,
know.
I know-
I
I
want to
know.
confirm or deny that.
Nothing wrong with being confident.
Exactly.
But, I'll turn to you, Michael, we'll say. And, But as a senior too, like you see that there's so many talented kids on the team. Like I look down the roster, it's like it seems like it's almost all sophomores, a couple juniors, even have a freshman starting on the offensive line. How were you guys able to, just keep your heads during that early part of the season where you knew you were playing some of the the best teams in the Shore? At one point, it was like the 1, 2, 3, 4 teams in the Shore, and know that if you just kept grinding there, like Coach said, schedule was going to start to change a little bit, and you guys could go on a little bit of a run.
Yeah, like you said, we had a lot of young guys starting, and me and our senior leaders kind of knew that we were the few that were going to be the leaders on that team, and we kind of had to push the younger guys and show them the way that we play and would practice. And we kind of knew that if we got through those first 4 or 5 weeks, that the season, like Coach said, would come back to us and we would make a run. But, I didn't know it would be like this, and I didn't know it would be this fun.
Yeah, it's good. You guys certainly took advantage of your opportunities.
Mike, you got a lot of ability on both the offense and defensive lines, that's for sure. Are you a yeller leader, or are you a laid-back, I'll do it by example?
Well, it kind of depends on the moment.
So you'll get in somebody's face, right?
I'll say it this way: if it's the offensive line guys, then I'll probably get in their face. But if it's the receiver guys and the skill guys, you could say I kind of I know they got the egos. So
exactly. You can't yell at Micah Ford. That's for sure.
I love it.
But yeah, it takes a true leader, which I think you are. I've seen you now for 4 years, to keep this team together. Did you feel like you really had to do that? I know Bobby just mentioned that to you, but, you are the leader of this team as the senior. Did you feel like you had to somehow keep this team together because you knew there'd be wins coming?
Yeah, it's not only me, though. Like Justin Smith and Matt Mutz, those are other seniors, Ryan Dean. Like, we kind of were with it last year where the older guys showed us how to do it. So we kind of showed them, the younger guys this year, that this is what we got to do, and practice hard and play hard, and we'd be in the situation.
Dave, can you point to it? Like we said, 6-game winning streak, and we'll run through that now. It started with win over Tom's River East, then South. Then you go to those pod games, and St. John Vianney was a nail-biter, 25-22. Then I think the win that really stood out, 17-0 over a very good Southern team. And then you guys roll into the playoffs. But did you look at a moment where you could sense it turning from a confidence standpoint and an execution standpoint where you felt like, okay, we go out every week, we can win this game?
Well, in practice, during the 2 Toms River games, we saw us really bounce where we jumped levels as far as the way we were practicing. And we talk about that, bringing what we do during the week into a game. And we saw that the execution level went up during the week and then on game day. But I thought, and we talked about it as a staff a little bit, there was many moments that you could kind of point to. But to me, the pivotal point where our team believed and we started to become, what we could be, was against St. John Vianney. That game could have went either way. They're very athletic. They have a very athletic quarterback and running back, and some of the things they do schematically really puts a lot of stress on you. And our kids played really, really well right down to the last play. It went down to the last play. And after that, we kept jumping levels each week, and we started bouncing from that game on. And, we're a lot better football team right now than we were when we entered that game.
Dave, let me throw a few numbers at you. Numbers are numbers. But this is traditionally a tremendous program, Toms River North. It always was, and I shouldn't say it always was. It was when Bob Fiacco took over it at the beginning, and I was lucky enough to be on that staff and lucky enough to be part of the first state championship in 1979. But 7 times in the finals, you're part of them. 6 times, not all of them, but part of them. 6 titles, okay, which is one of the top numbers in the Shore.
Tied for 4th all time.
Exactly. There are some a little bit better than you. 20 times in the playoffs, 20. And an overall record of 21-13. That's up to date this year. That's a pretty good program.
Listen, when we came here in 2006, Toms River North was already, one of the best. Yeah, absolutely. Established program. Coach Fiacco, who I'm very close to, and Coach Dowd and all of our staff members. Matter of fact, he just wrote me a long email. He's on our Huddle account. He watches all our film. He's super excited that we're in a sectional final. He's been a part of all our final runs. And Coach Nanny is unbelievable, Hall of Famer. Really kind of put the program where it's at, and it's been sustained over the years. And the program that we inherited, we just wanted to keep it going. I kind of look at it, as a steward, you're stewarding the program. And it's going to be good until as long as they have High School North and long after I'm gone. But this is a pretty special run right now.
Well, what I do know is that for the next 2 years, this is going to be one of the top programs in the Shore.
Well, yeah.
I mean, the entire backfield is young kids. Bob said you got a freshman wide out slot guy. A freshman lineman that's about 6'5", 300?
He's like 6'6", like
6'6", excuse me. I'm glad he's not here. Is he? But yeah, he that's unbelievable. I mean, it's just unbelievable, the youth on this football team, and your job and your brother's job and everybody else on the staff just got to keep them together.
Yeah, I mean, we're excited where our program. Really, right now, top to bottom, our program maybe has never been in better shape because we've had an unexpected season maybe with this late run here with our varsity. Our junior varsity was 7-1. Our freshmen were undefeated and really didn't play a close game. We're dominant in the most difficult league in the Shore Conference. So, we're excited about the future. But I got to tell you, and we've talked about this, we're going to seize the opportunity. We're going to seize the moment. We're going to live in the now. You're not guaranteed to make it back to a sectional final, not in South Jersey or Central Jersey Group 5, not with those kind of programs. You don't know the way it's going to shake out. You can never foretell the future. So, we're going to take advantage of the opportunity we have before us Friday night and, try to go bring number 7 home.
Mike, so much focus has been on the offense. I think that goes for any team. It's the numbers. They're splashy and flashy and out there. But, over the last couple of years, like you guys have – the defense hasn't played as well as the offense. This year, again, the offense getting a lot of headlines, but your defense has really played well, come alive, and really kind of turned a corner and been consistent. What are some of the things you feel like you guys have done there just, again, to play those consistent games? I mean, 7 points last week, 2 touchdowns the week before. You shut out Southern. Just playing really well at the big times.
Yeah, we just know that us guys up front, me, Justin Kay, Nasir McDougal, Jalen Matthews, and Nick Biacco, we know that if we have a steady rotation of guys that everyone could go in and make a play and hold the point up front, keep the blocks, and let our linebackers of Ty Bowen and Anthony Rodriguez make the play. And then we know that if they pass, our secondary can stay with anyone. Our guys are locked down, and they'll make the play.
Michael, two-way lineman, what do you like best, offense or defense?
Well, my dad, as the offensive line coach, I've always been around the offensive line, so I guess I would say offense.
Yeah, but you know what? There's nothing like coming from that edge, right?
Yeah.
Looking at a low number, usually a quarterback, and lowering your head. You got 1.5 sacks this year, but nothing like coming off the edge looking for quarterbacks, is there?
No, but nothing like coming off the edge when you're pulling and seeing a low number, too.
There we go.
I
See?
like it. I
love it. Dave, you have had some tremendous quarterbacks come through this program in its history. In the last 5-6 years, you've had some insane quarterbacks. Started Mike Husney and record-setting performances, Jay Kazanowski, and now Micah Ford. He was, as a freshman last year, he was running back with Jake playing quarterback. You put him at quarterback this year, and all he's done is, ran for almost 1,400 yards, thrown for almost 1,000 yards, and it's like every week he's doing 200, 100, whichever way you want to split it. And obviously that takes your offense to a new level. Just how about him coming in and having this kind of year? And again, as the team has, he's also just gotten better every week. And he's playing defense, too.
We kind of knew, listen, you can't replace – when Mike Husney graduated, we knew we couldn't replace him. Mm-hmm. And then when Jake came along, we were blessed to have him. And Jake was a different kind of quarterback, but super talented and one of the best throwers, natural passers I've ever seen in my life in high school football. You can't replace him either. Mm-hmm. So when Micah came along, obviously he's a tailback, when you look at him, and that's what he'll play in college. But for us in high school football, when you look at the advent of the spread and really, the way the quarterback is used in high school football, running the quarterback is very difficult to defend. It creates an extra gap, and is really no real way to defend it properly. So for us, it was a no-brainer to move him there with a young football team, with an offensive line that, I got a lot of faith in our offensive line coach, Bill Dowd. He's been with me from the beginning. He's one of the best in the business. We felt like we'd be good up front, and we felt like in the schedule that we have, we need to hold the football, keep the opposing offenses off the field, and we're going to pound Micah at you. And that was really the decision-making behind it. The development with him throwing the football the last 3 or 4 weeks has really made our offense very difficult to handle right now, where everybody has to defend the entire field. A lot of pressure points.
Let me just follow up and ask you about that, Mike. When you have a quarterback who, obviously, if it's a design run play, you know what's going on, but there's a lot of times where it's a pass, and if he doesn't see it, he's going to take off. And is there that sense where you just kind of got to be aware? Like Micah might be taking off here for a big gain, and just try to make sure you're just holding those blocks a little longer, kind of figuring out where the play may go, because it might go off script if he doesn't see anything downfield.
Yeah, we know that like if it's a pass play and he doesn't see anything, he's gonna go. So we just gotta stay on our guys, bring him upfield so that he has enough room to make his plays, and then we get down and keep blocking downfield for him.
And as a lineman, to know that you have, and not just him too, and we've seen it with Tariq Council at wide receiver, Jeremiah Pruitt, even Josh Moore. Like, you have a bunch of guys who can take it the distance every time they touch the ball. So is that one of those instances where hey, maybe this extra half second of a block might be the difference between a 10-yard run and a 60-yard touchdown?
Yeah, that's what I said of the line pregame before we go out as a team. I say to our guys that if we just gotta stay on our blocks and do what we do, and our skill guys, we know that they are the most talented kids in the shore, and they'll go out there and make the play.
Dave, you mentioned your underclass programs. I believe one loss, no losses in JV and freshman. Will Micah Ford eventually grow out of that quarterback spot? Is it a possibility?
Listen, not the way he's playing right now.
Right.
And I got to give a lot of credit. Our staff's done a phenomenal job. The offensive staff, my brother Mike Oswald's offense coordinator, Billy Dowd, our offensive line coach, Nick Zaza and Anthony Penna. And I got to give a lot of personal credit, individual credit to Anthony Penna. He's our quarterback coach. He spent a lot of time all summer transitioning, Micah from a running back to a quarterback. And I think the fruits of their labors together are starting to pay off. We saw it in practice the last month. He started really spinning the ball. He's got massive mitts. He's got big hands. So as the weather got colder, he got better. He actually prefers the cold weather. He's throwing the football right now. You wouldn't know that he was a running back converted, to quarterback right now if you came to practice and watched him spin the football. He's doing a good job.
And I covered the very first game of the year, which is Colts Neck, which probably seems like it was a millennia ago. You could see it. You saw the talent, obviously, even throwing the ball, but the uncoachable ability when the ball is in his hands as a running back. I mean, I saw some plays. Look, he's a sophomore. I don't want to make wild comparisons, but I saw some plays that day where I said, that run reminded me of Ashante Worthy, where it's like, how did he get out of that and do that? And he's bigger, and he's a big kid. I mean, again, not to get way ahead of everything, but it seems like he really just has special ability that, he can take over a game where it doesn't matter what play you call, he does something special, and you just kind of, got to applaud that.
He's a dynamic talent. I mean, listen, I think he's the most difficult kid to tackle one-on-one in the short conference. And even if you're willing, we think this, even if you're willing to tackle him in the first, are you willing to tackle the second, third, and fourth time? Because he just keeps bringing it. And he's a big, thick, fast kid, and he's very, very smart. He's very intelligent. And it's one of the reasons why he's improving at quarterback is his intelligence. He breaks down film. He watches the opponent. He's a winner. He wants to win. And to me, the number one prerequisite as a quarterback, Mike Husney had it. Mike Husney's will to win was above anybody's I've ever coached. Jake Kazanowski had it. He had a will to win, very strong will to win. Micah Ford's got the same.
I've been to so many Toms River North games on the sidelines, and every game I go to, it seems that Mike Husney is there. I mean, he comes back all the time, and I know he's playing in college.
He's down at Rowan,
at Rowan. I mean, he comes back a lot, and he takes part, and I see him talking to some of the players. You can't beat that.
No, our players tend to come back and, give back to the program and stay involved in the program. Mike's got a younger brother, too, that's involved in the program, Talon Grande, who's our backup quarterback and actually came in against Donovan and threw a touchdown pass or two. Mike, always supportive. Jake is, when he's back from school, he'll be there, and he supports the program. And it's a family at Toms River North. It is, and we're close knit, and we kind of keep the circle tight.
Mike, championship game Friday night, just a couple days away, and as a football player, that's what the goal is. That's your dream, is to play in a championship game. And here it is. The season didn't unfold in that, dream scenario, which you envisioned 12-0, all that. But here you are. You have a chance to win a title as a senior. Just how about that? Ended on your home field, too. I mean, this is a recent development. These all used to be at neutral sites going up to Rutgers and whatnot. But get to run out in front of the home fans and try to go win a ring. And how special is that going to be, and just how exciting is that to have that opportunity?
Very exciting. I was actually the ball boy in 2015 when they won, so I knew
Nice.
I knew how they all were so excited for that, and that was even at a neutral site. So I mean, just talking to my friends in school, everyone's saying like they're buying their tickets, they're getting ready. Everyone, my friend was asking me what we wanted the pit theme to be for them. So
Yeah, they went Christmas last week. I was surprised.
that was kind of a last minute thing. I'm
they
not
picked
really
one
sure.
of
When in doubt, just do the Christmas.
Yeah.
They
But-
also picked the coldest night. It got
Yeah.
pretty cold in that second half, and nobody had coats on. None of the
Nah.
kids had coats on.
But no,
yeah,
it's
they're
just-
into it.
It's just very exciting to be in this position. I mean, like you said at the beginning of the year, I'm not going to lie, I didn't really think we were going to go on this run and be here, but I'm happy that we are, and I'm very excited.
Yeah, everyone's believing that. Before we let you go, quick scouting report on Kingsway. I mean, this is a team you guys have played recently in the playoffs. Always a tough team. Big school like you guys, obviously, in Group 5. Again, quick scouting report on the Dragons.
We just know that their offensive line could really get some push, so we just got to keep it up front. And then on offense, we got to do what we do, get Micah and all of our guys some space to make some plays. They're very opportunistic, so we got to keep our team controlled, keep everyone's emotions in check, not have any penalties, or else they'll capitalize, hold on to the ball. Simple stuff.
Well, we wish you nothing but the best on Friday night. Dave, we'll keep you here before we bring on Todd. But, Mike, we just want to thank you
Thank you.
for taking some time tonight. It's been a great, certainly second half of the season. We hope it continues on Friday.
Thank you.
That's Mike Dowd, senior two-way lineman for the Mariners. We'll take a quick break, and we'll come back to talk to one of the other captains, their junior Ty Kazanowski. You're watching the Varsity Link Coach's Corner on the Shore Sports. Back here at the Office Restaurant and Lounge in Toms River for the Week 12 Varsity Link Coach's Corner. Talking Toms River North football here. Just a couple days out from their South Jersey Group 5 title game against Kingsway. Once again, brought to you this week and every week by Varsity Link Player Profiles. So be sure to check those guys out. Go to www.varsitylink.com. Download their app on the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. And also want to tell you about our Block Game Day Countdown. Every Friday night this season, the Shore Sports Network has been out of the feature game. You look for the Shore Sports Network SUV and sign up to win dinner for 6 at the Butcher's Block and Table in Long Branch. Won't be at a game this week, but we will be at Manasquan, Vicaboo Warrior Field on Thanksgiving, Manasquan versus Shore Regional. So if you're there on Turkey Day, be sure to stop by the Shore Sports Network SUV, and no purchase necessary. Win dinner for 6 to the Butcher's Block and limousine service also. Ed is not driving the limo. He was trying to say that for like the first 5 weeks.
Got another job.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, check out shoresportsnetwork.com for more information on all those features. Keep Dave Oserowitz here, the head coach, and we're joined by their outstanding junior tight end and outside linebacker, Ty Kazanowski. So, Ty, thanks for coming up and joining us to talk about playoff football. It's got to be exciting. Like we said with Mike, you start off with, with 4 losses. You got certainly help with the forfeit win with Donovan Catholic. And then, boom, it turns around. Certainly helps when you have your rivals, East and South, and that gets you really ready. And then 6 wins later, here you go. It's time for a state championship game. So just how about this run you guys have been able to go on to put yourself in position to win a championship?
Well, it was a lot of fun. No one really saw us here in the beginning of the season. No one saw us in a state championship game. And to prove everyone wrong and to actually make it here and have a chance to go win states, it's really exciting. Nothing more I could ask for there.
Yeah.
You know, Ty, we'll get this out of the way right now. Your brother graduated last year, RPI, right?
Yes, sir.
Just give us a quick rundown. What's happening up there with him?
Well, right now he isn't getting much playing time. There's a senior quarterback, fifth-year senior, but he's gotten in a few games, actually threw a touchdown pass in his first ever throw attempt, so he's doing well up there.
Okay, there you go.
Jake,
That's
our
good.
two-time first-team All-Shore quarterback and Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah,
is
not
junior.
bad.
So, with the way this run has unfolded, and I want to touch on it, Mike, but I'll ask you. You're 0-4 there, but Coach is saying practices have gone well. Did it help that those next two games after that were East and South? Because that's just going to get your attention no matter what. It's rivalry games, where they all throw the record out the window, mantra. Did that help? Because no matter what is going on, you don't want to lose to those teams. It seemed like that really helped jumpstart everything.
Yeah, those were big wins. We needed those wins, and coming off those 4 straight losses, we knew we needed to switch something, and we had confidence going into every week. So to finally go in and try to get a win against our rivals was a really big week, and we got it done.
Dave, let's talk individually now about these two guys you brought down here tonight,
Right.
Michael and Ty. Tell us what they mean to this 21 team.
They're the backbone of the team. They are true leaders. Sometimes you have a captain or you name captains because they're seniors and they've played a few years, and you feel like that they need to be that because they've been there that long. But Michael, first of all, Michael's been on the sideline. I first saw Michael Dowd. It was my first year at North. Billy was coaching freshmen, and he brought his 2 boys down in the end zone there, and we're like, who are these kids in the end zone? Get these kids out of here. We're trying to practice. We were running Skelly. So I've known, obviously Michael since he was a little boy, and he was, like I said, he was our ball boy and everything. But
I was going to say, how big was he as a ball boy?
Michael's a pretty big kid. He was a pretty big kid. He was always big. But
Yeah.
they're tough, and they represent all the things at North that we talk about being North tough and being physical and playing with an edge and so on. Michael, believe me, every game I got to tell him to calm him down a little bit because he's ready to go at it with somebody. He plays with an edge. He's a lot like his dad. I heard about when his dad played for North, and I told him that the other day. I said, man, that's your son right there, man. That's him. But yeah, he envelopes every single thing that we want in a captain. Michael Dowd represents for us, and he's a great leader. And Ty's the same. Ty, as a sophomore, was our defensive player of the year. Now, our defense wasn't very good, but he was. He was, and I don't know if we've ever had a sophomore that's ever been a defense MVP since I've been at North since 06. And I knew we could build defensively around Ty, and now Ty's growing into that leader. He's very vocal. He's gone at me a few times. He went at me today at practice, you know what I mean? But and I like it.
He's bigger than you.
He is bigger, yeah. His whole family's bigger than me. But he likes it. He enjoys and he embraces the role, and he's very cerebral. They both are. They ask a lot of questions, and you want that. They give you feedback. They know the pulse of the team, the locker room. I can go to them, and I do. And I ask them, hey, how's the team feeling about this? Because you could have a certain perspective as a coach, but you really can't look into your players' minds and know exactly and it's the hardest thing as a high school coach is to know that. Yeah. You might have a certain viewpoint of schematically and how we feel about the game plan going in matchups, but it's really about what's inside their chest plate, and that heartbeat and how they're feeling. And they give us good insight and good feedback, and they do. They're good. They're real good. They're 2 of the best captains that we've ever had here.
And he got this one back.
We do. Yeah, we do. I'm happy
Nice.
about that. Yeah.
Well, a lot of kids be coming back next year. We're not talking about that, though. It's all about this week. But it's staying on that theme of the youth. I mean, you guys knew you had a really young team. We've already talked about the amount of sophomores that start. You have a freshman that starts. There's only a handful of seniors. When you're going through the early part of the season and you're losing, but you're playing some of the best teams in the Shore, was there that, maybe conversation of let's have some patience, keep practicing hard, keep doing things, the way you guys know you want to do them, because this thing can turn. There's talent there, and sometimes when you have a young team early, it's probably not going to come together as quickly as it would, if you had a senior-laden team.
Yeah, playing those 4 powerhouse teams in the beginning of the year actually matured our young guys faster than anything else. I think it was the best thing for them.
going against the best competition that they'll probably face this year is going to do nothing but good for them. And I really thought that ever since I saw the schedule.
And Dave, I know in talking in the preseason, like ideally you probably wouldn't want to be in that division because I know it's not a rebuilding year. We certainly can't say that now, but all things considered. But now, can you look back and see the positive from that? In that, hey, you went through those lumps early, but like Ty said, it certainly helped prepare you guys for now.
Yeah, I think it's a great point by Ty. When you look back and you say, yeah, the fear that we had was, when you look at those divisions, and I think is injuries. We're going to play those teams, and whether you win or you lose, what do you have left after that? No matter who you're playing after that. That was our fear. We actually came through that pretty good. We were a little bumped up, a little bruised up, and we did lose a player or two along the way, and they all impact you. But yeah, I think when you look back at that schedule and the way our kids responded to the schedule, more importantly, our kids never got down. We would come to practice on a Saturday morning, watch the film, and the staff was, a little upset. We'd come in there and, we'd talk obviously before we met the players, and we'd get in that film room and the players were raring to go. Let's go. They took constructive criticism, and they never, ever, ever took a step back. They wanted to get out there. They wanted to improve, and we kind of knew as long as we could stay healthy probably after the Donovan game, when our kids were kept responding, despite the result on a Friday night, that we have something different here that most teams wouldn't have. Like most teams wouldn't respond that way, in our experiences coaching football, at this level. And, they are unique. There's something, it's one thing that you can't put and wrap your arms around or your mind around, and you can't coach it and you can't condition it. You can coach tackling, you can coach blocking, catching the football, spinning the football. You don't know what makes up a team's spirit and what drives them to overcome adversity. This team they have it, and we're going to need to do that again Friday night.
Ty, how close is this team?
This is the closest team I've ever been a part of. It's 11 brothers out on the field. Out on the field every time we play.
And my favorite question: pasta parties
They're the
before
best.
game?
A lot of fun.
Okay, well here's the key question: who don't you want to be behind at the pasta party because the food may be gone?
That's the big freshman, Jalen Matthews.
Oh, the big guy, the 300-pounder.
There's a lot of options to pick from. Your line is not small. There's some big dudes out there.
Nah, just about my whole line will eat everything there.
You need 2 separate buffet tables, one for the line and one for everybody else.
I'm glad you didn't say. I'm glad you didn't say Mike at least, because as I look out there, I don't think he's eaten anything yet.
No, Mike's not too bad. He's not too bad.
Leave Mike alone, picking on Mike.
No, I'm not picking on him. I'm saying.
Let's talk about the game Friday night, Kingsway. This is a team, Ty, you guys have played in recent years. I want to say 2 years ago it was you guys played them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Again, it's like Coach was saying, you get into these brackets, all these teams are good, and they're like you guys. You guys were a 3 seed, so you earned a home game, but they were the 5. The 1 seed lost in the first round. Lenape beat Washington Township, and then Kingsway goes and beats Lenape last week. So they're kind of on a Cinderella run, different way, but maybe teams that people didn't think were going to make it to a final are now playing. So what have you guys seen from Kingsway on film without giving away any game plan stuff? But what do they do well, and what do you think you guys are going to have to do on Friday night?
Well, on defense, they take the ball away a lot. Against their last game, they had 6 turnovers on defense.
Wow.
And the best thing we could do is just hold on to the ball. And if we hold on to the ball, we'll win the game. And I'm confident in that.
It sounds simple enough, right?
Yes, sir.
And Dave, too, when you look at this Kingsway team, and the same thing I said to him, strong program, has played you guys in the playoffs before, so you know what you're getting in terms of that. Well, what is their makeup? What are they going to challenge you guys with?
Well, they're well coached. We have a lot of familiarity with Coach Hendricks. I mean, he was at Lenape as the D coordinator when we went back-to-back years where we had to go up there. Then he went to Kingsway. We faced them twice in the last several years, and they've gotten the better of us. So, there's not going to be any surprises on both sides. Formations or defensively what we do on both sides of the ball. It's going to come down to execution. They do turn the ball over, like Ty said. They make sure that the other offense turns the ball over. They're very opportunistic. They have a lot of speed. They do things schematically to try to stress you a little bit. He's very smart. He's a very intelligent coach, and it's going to come down to who's more physical, who wins the line of scrimmage, who tackles better in the cold weather. It's supposed to be cold Friday night, and who does not turn the ball over. I really think it's going to be a simple game like that.
What are they running offensively?
Offensively, they're a little bit of everything. You know, they'll come two tights and they'll play with two backs. They'll play with some 21 personnel, but they spend a lot of time with two wides, a tight end, all right, multiple backs.
Pretty athletic quarterback.
The quarterback mid-year moved into the lineup. He was a receiver. He's a dual threat kid. He also plays safety. He's one of their better secondary kids. He comes up, they'll thump you. Good sized kid. Very good athlete. One of a number of brothers that's played in his program. So. We know it's going to be, a tight game, and it's going to come down to the little things. And we're really focusing on our level of execution. And really, what we've talked to our kids about is get better this week, get better, improve again, because that's what we've done.
In terms of, and we talked about this schedule in general preparing you, but I look at the different kind of offense you faced. Go all about the Colts. Like that's a simple. They're going to play with a fullback. They're going to run power football. Donovan's going to spread you out. Wall's going to go with the power football, but kind of that two-man game, a little bit similar to what you guys do. Rumson, a little bit of the same. St. John Vianney's kind of going to spread it out with the quarterback that can run around, and then Southern with the bull of a running back. Seems like you guys have seen a big-time variety of offenses throughout the season.
I would agree with that. We're well prepared. A lot of diversified offenses that we've seen throughout our schedule. Some big physical football teams, too. We've seen some very, very big teams, teams that are well coached. Traditional powers, really good coaching staffs, and we've seen some legitimate skill. So, and Kingsway brings aspects of all of that. They do, and they're hot just like we are, and they're also very, very young just like we are. So it makes for a very interesting matchup.
Ty, lousy start, 6 in a row. You've come too far to stop right now, right?
There's no chance we lose Friday night.
There you go.
I love it. Now,
DraftKings. I get right on DraftKings right after this.
If you could find that on there, you tell me. No high school games on that as far as I know. But, last year, again, we've talked to pretty much all our guests this year about it. Last year, very different. Few, if any, fans there, especially early in the season. This year, you got the crowd out, the student section. It's raucous. I've been covering games there for like 17 years. Every time that cannon goes off, I almost have a heart attack. But
exactly.
It's a fun atmosphere on Friday night, Gurnard Field. And now with the way, the format has changed, you guys get to play a championship game at home. Just how special is that going to be, running out there, just the fans behind you, and you get to have a home field advantage when you try to win a title.
It's very exciting. Our fans bring it every game. They're there to support us, and they add a little bit of adrenaline to the game. They get you a little bit more excited to play. And looking up and seeing the stands packed is going to be a special moment, especially in the state championship game.
Guys, we wanted to have you guys on all season because, whenever we bring you guys to the office, it's a packed house, and it's a great show. And you guys gave us the perfect opportunity, with the win last Friday night over Edison, and now you're playing the state championship game. So great representation from the for the Shore Conference, as always, with you guys. And it's great to see you guys back in a championship game and coming down here tonight and talking with us.
Thank you so much for having us. It's an honor being here, and you guys do an awesome job for high school football in the Shore Conference, and I know every program appreciates it. Thank you.
Thank you. That's Dave Ozerwitz and Ty Kazanowski from Tom's North. We thank those guys for coming down, along with Mike Dowd, who we had on earlier. Those guys, Friday night, 7 p.m. at Gurnard Field, the South Jersey Group 5 championship game against Kingsway. Remember, tickets, you have to go on the NJSIAA's website. You can't buy tickets in person. I want to get that out there because I don't know how many people they were going to show up looking for tickets. But go online, buy your tickets, and get out there and see the Mariners. So, guys, thanks again, and best of luck. We'll come back, Ed and I, and we'll talk a little bit about the championship games coming up, a little bit of the Thanksgiving games, and then we're out of here. So, quick break, and we'll be back on the Varsity Link Coaches Corner on the Shore Sports Network. a few minutes left here in tonight's show at the Office Restaurant and Lounge in Toms River. So we will touch on quickly again the 6 games coming up this weekend. Start off real quick. A semifinal game, so certainly not as important. Important game for Red Bank Catholic. If they can win, they'll play in a championship game either the following week or the week after at one of the neutral sites. So Red Bank Catholic against another traditional power, St. Joseph's Academy, which of course is the old St. Joseph's at Hamilton. Their head coach Paul Sacco is a legendary head coach in the state. They've won, I don't know how many championships off the top of my head, but it's
Many.
a lot. I think over 20. So that should be a good game there at Count Basie Field on Friday night. And Red Bank Catholic playing with a lot of emotion and certainly riding high coming off that win over Morris Catholic. And then we'll go down the line. Middletown South at Irvington in the North 2 Group 4 final. All these games Friday night, so we don't have any Saturday games. So then South Jersey Group 5, Kingsway at Toms River North game we just previewed. In Central Jersey Group 3, Woodrow Wilson and their very good offense. Their talented quarterback Devin Cargman leads the way for the Tigers, and they will come into Borden Stadium, take on Rumson Fairhaven, see if anyone can score or even get a first down on Rumson as the Bulldogs go for another sectional championship. Haddonfield at Raritan in the Central Jersey Group 2 final, and Willingboro at Point Borough in the South Jersey Group 2 final. Ed, what do you think? When you look at those games, I mean, obviously they're all important. They're all championship games, and we can be homers this time of year and root for our local teams. But is there a game there that catches your eye above any others?
You mentioned Rumson and Woodrow Wilson. I mean, that will not be easy for Rumson. Like you mentioned, Carkman has thrown for 2,500 yards, 20 touchdowns on the year. So if they get a good night Friday night with no elements, weather, wind, or anything like that, the air will be full of football. Does Rumson like that? I think they do.
Well, Burlington Township was not those same kind of numbers, but same kind of offense.
Exactly, same kind of offense, and Rumson seems to be getting their offense back in track. I mean, and I'm not betting it against John Lista.
I'm not betting against anybody wearing the purple and white on Friday night, because what they've done in the playoffs. Look,
I think they get it done.
You get the benefit of that by earning the benefit of that, and they have done that, over and over again in the playoffs. And even the one year, they played Somerville in a sectional final where it got postponed. They had to go up to Somerville on a Sunday. I covered that game, and Somerville had an explosive offense that no one was stopping. Look, they scored 35 points on Rumson. Rumson scored 42 and ran it right down the throat all game. So that staff, that group of players, they just find a way. It's a phenomenal coaching staff. Jerry Schulte, his son Jeremy, their defensive coordinator. You have John Wagner, Hall of Fame head coach, Rich Mosca, John Andol, John Cornelius, and Chris Quinn. Like, the list goes down the line. You really name everybody there and all the players. There's a reason why they've been on this kind of run. And, it shouldn't be an easy game when you're playing the sectional final, but I got to like Rumson.
Don't bet against.
If I had to pick one team to win, I would pick those guys. Raritan, you mentioned, the Rockets have been hot, and they find a way in the playoffs too. Certainly not to the degree that Rumson has lately, but Raritan, that offense is going. It's tough to deal with when you have 3 options offensively to stop Ed, and that's what they'll try to do against Haddonfield. Tough to stop a team when they have 3 guys they give the ball to, isn't it?
Yeah, that's for sure. If I had to pick one team to win, and I'm not saying this because they're in the house, but I think it's Toms River North.
Yeah.
I think they get it done this week. I think if I had to make a bet, that's the team I would bet.
And look, momentum is only as good as
Exactly.
the next day starting pitcher, as the baseball phrase go, but as good as your next play and whatnot. You hope that carries over into the next game, but once the game starts, it's all about how it unfolds there. That being said, they detonated Edison in the semifinals.
Yeah, so impressive.
Yeah, if
they're young kids.
You want to go into a championship game playing your best football and riding high, and that's exactly what Toms River North is doing. We talked about Raritan having 3 options. Point Borough has 4. They run they should change that. Call it the quadruple option, because you go, quarterback Charlie Vitale is the senior, Jake Croce, their sophomore A-back, and then their 2 slot backs, sophomore Matt Alfont, junior Connor Salento. And they've just been rolling, and it hasn't been any one guy during this run. They've had guys have big games during the regular season, but in these 2 playoff games, it's been balanced, and that is when an offense like that is at their most dangerous. And their defense is unheralded. They have some really good players. J.J. Bennett, Connor Reynolds, Charlie Davison, the sophomore, It just it goes on down the line. Tyler Gordon at linebacker, and then the aforementioned guys on offense also play defense. So just a good team. Again, a good coaching staff. Brian Staub leading the way. Their defensive coordinator, Shane O'Connor. Ryan Canary coaching the O-line, who was on a championship team for the Panthers in the past. And, that's a team that 2017 was in the final, lost to Hillside, finished 11-1, and those coaches, just that program in general, they're itching to get back and finish it off.
Yeah. Like to see Brian Staub get number one.
It would be nice. Former Brickmore quarterback who brought a state championship to the Mustangs back there in his tenure. So that's the games for Friday night. Real quick look ahead to Thanksgiving. As we mentioned, it'll be Shore Regional at Manasquan now, and then the 3 other games, a long-running Neptune at Asbury Park, Red Bank at Long Branch, Middletown South at Middletown North. We won't be on the air next week to preview those, so we just wanted to give you a little bit of a look at those games. Previews for all these 5 public sectional championship games will be on Shore Sports Network, so make sure you go check those out tomorrow and on Friday, and then certainly we'll have a little bit of a look on the Thanksgiving games during that week.
Just one real quick, Bob. Just mention that for the winners Friday night, it's not over.
It's not. So
regional games.
The public school winners, and Red Bank Catholic is still in the semifinals,
right,
so of course
right.
they'll have a championship game, but regional championship games. The last year of this, because next year we will plan out the true state champions, but for this year we go with the regional championship game. So South will play Central, North 1 will play North 2 in those respective groups. So we could have some very interesting matchups coming up. We could have an all-shore matchup potentially in Group 2, which is the only one we can have a matchup in. So that would be interesting. Could have a Point Bar Raritan regional final, which would be fun. But lots got to happen before we get there. 5 title games on Friday, and we'll be covering that wall-to-wall on shoresportsnetwork.com. Want to thank everyone for coming out to the Office Restaurant and Lounge in Toms River tonight. Certainly our guests from Toms River North and all the representatives of the program. Thank the staff, Nick and his entire staff here at the Office Restaurant Lounge for hosting us for the entire season. This is our last show here, and they have been great supporters of everything we do at the Shore Sports Network. We love coming here, and it's been a great season. We're looking forward to coming back again next year. For Steve Meyer on the camera, Tom Tremblay, our engineer, and, of course, Ed Sarluke up here with me, I'm Bob Batters. Thanks again for watching the Varsity Link Coach's Corner, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks.